All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I was not planning on covering these back to back, but enough requests, I do what I can. All right, so let's take a look again at the weed sector, and it's once again a little less cohesive as a sector, but clearly it seems like today was a good day, and I think I'm gonna kind of use that in my back pocket. All right. Tilray. I talked about the dojis, and again we get another weird one, right? So this for sure is confusing me, but CGC. This is why I love the 8 moving average. All right, I won't pretend that I thought it was going to come lower. And I know I talked about a couple other lower numbers before. I think 660 was even a number I thought about, right? But I know I talked about the bounce, and man, the line held, right? So I love it. Give me just a little more. I'll talk about wanting to close just a couple cents higher, but still today looked good. All right, and then high tide. Yeah, if you don't know what it looks like, oh, it was a big day today. It was, and again, I'm seeing that same bounce of the 8 moving average, right? So not necessarily on Tilray yet, but we also haven't lost it yet, right? So I think that's kind of what's in the back of my head. All right, but before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, I am incredibly grateful that you're here and giving me your valuable time. All right, so I just covered this yesterday. I don't want to repeat too many stuff, but too many things, excuse me, but Florida did put the recreational law into the November ballot. That's a beautiful thing. Look, again, to me, I think there's 3 interesting things with Florida. Number one, I believe it's been on the ballot before and it's lost, right? So there's a little bit of that, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't care. It's almost like a resistance line. You hit it so many times, and you can only hit it so many times before it's finally going to go. And if I'm not mistaken, the Florida no last time was significantly closer than the first time, right? So I see the resistance line hitting and hopefully breaking, right? I think the second thing is the Florida economic powers that could come for the MSOs, right? Florida has a big population. Florida still has relatively cheap housing comparatively to the US, so people are actually still moving in there. And Florida has a really good and interesting age range. You have the younger ones, the college kids that go for spring break, this, that, and those. You have the older generation that's, looking for some pain relief, right? So I think there's a bunch of very interesting aspects when coming to Florida, right? So economically, I think it's important. The previous no's that are just getting closer and closer to yeses, and then just lastly, look, the more states that say yes to full recreational, the harder it has to be for the Fed to say, all right, let's keep it no for now, right? Like more and more just kind of makes it seem a little bit logical, right? But again, those are all things I mentioned on the last video. The biggest thing that's still really surprising me are these doji candles, all right? I always say the close of the day matters the most, all right? For the entirety, for the entirety of today, we were doing amazing, right? We really were. It wasn't until that last 15 minutes that really scared it, right? Like, I obviously saw this and this, don't get me wrong, but it looked like we'd made a nice recovery. That third to last, that 45-minute before the bell candle really shook some things up. And I looked for the headlines. I even just looking at this view, it's not like our 15-minute was this high and clearly needed to reset, right? Like, this looked like it was healthier going. This looked like the MACD wanted to go up. Clearly it didn't, right? So the close of the day very much surprised me. The 3 dojis in a row, I think they're so funny, right? I wish I knew what they meant. I'm not a candle pattern dude, right? But most people thought it was going to go up, comes back. Most people thought it was going to crash. It comes back. Most people thought it was going to go up. It comes back. Like, that's just such a weird 1, 2, 3 back to back to back. It's really throwing me for a loop. All right. The one thing I care about though is we are still over the 8 moving average. I flashed it in the beginning. I'm obviously going to talk about the other stocks in a second, but the sector is still showing strength. This sector is still staying above the moving averages, and a number of the stocks are actually using the 8 moving average well. I don't know if I'm going to have time for SNDL. Let me just flash it here just in case. It is. Look at that. SNDL hit too. I often have said that SNDL mimics Tilray a lot. And I think I like this. And I think I want to hope that this also... Look, SNDL actually never even comes to the 8 moving average. It's kind of the same way it bounced right here, right? I'm going to cover these other ones later, but CGC actually, like, I mean, it came to the line, right? Even HITI came to the line, right? SNDL didn't need to. SNDL, nice, beautiful. SNDL was able to just keep on keeping on, right? And I'm still seeing the 8 come up. This is what I want to see on Tilray, and I'll flash back to the Tilray chart shortly, but the 20 is now above the 2. I now have, literally I have 2 things. I'm not going to draw the line, but I have this, what looks like a strong 175, and I've got the 20 moving average that still looks like it wants to keep coming up over that 200. There is, it feels like this has actually broken and is ready to run. It feels like it is better than this one here. And I know we've been under that line way too long, right? So, oof, this SNDL chart is looking real nice, actually. Where's the weekly on this? Oh man, we are knocking on the door of breaking that 100. Those are still really healthy indicators. Dang, I really wish I like threw sandal at the end and I would have figured it out. But yeah, I'm lumping it in here with Tilray. Number 1, I like this. Number 2, I've said it seems like SNDL and Tilray, the charts move together pretty well, right? So give me that same thing here. Give me the ability to bounce before we get to the line, let alone, it looks like the line's going to still keep going up and probably meet us tomorrow, if not day after, right? Where are we on the weekly here? Oh, very similar. Very similar. We're knocking on the door of that 100. I remember talking about this weekly. I remember saying that this isn't quite a doji, but it kind of looks like one to like my impartial eyes because of the wicks. But look, this one didn't do as well as the others. This one for literally most of the day, except for the last 45 minutes, kind of slipped, right? There were no headlines to make me think it. Volume's been just a little uglier than I want it to be, but I like that we're at least holding this 48 million. I like that we're still above the 50. And yeah, just give me a good candle tomorrow. Doji, that don't count. We're still over it, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if, man, I don't talk about alcohol enough. Alcohol, I like, just give me some alcohol headlines too, right? Like, there are a lot of avenues that Tilray is in. It doesn't have to just be weed for this thing to win, right? I'm gonna make videos before their earnings, but for real, I'm scared of this coming earnings. All right, I think that's what we'll end this on. It wasn't that long ago that January 9th earnings brought a big, bad, scary red candle that actually continued for another month and a half, right? Earnings aren't quite like technicals. It's not like this earning was bad, so I have to assume the next one was bad. But if you have a bunch of good ones in a row, I'm going to feel a lot better than just coming off a bad one, right? So let me know if anyone has any earnings expectations. But yeah, that's on the 9th. That's like right around the corner, right? So make sure you have a plan with earnings especially, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's come into CGC. Big day today. All right, big day today, big day today, big day today. Why was it a big day? The 8 moving average did the job. It did, all right? Like, I have no control over, real quick, I'm so sorry. If you can please subscribe, please share this video. It does wonders for the algorithm, all right? I have absolutely no control with these 5 lines, all right? These are computer-generated lines that take to the penny numbers and do crazy math computer things that I'm too dumb to do, all right? I love the 8. I do. I can't stress it enough. And I mean, the bounces are why, all right? I wish this closed just a little bit higher. I wish we closed a little closer to like 855. I'm clicking at 856 right now, maybe even a little higher to like 860. I would have loved to regain 50% of this one. Okay, I really would have. Don't get me wrong. I love that we're over the biggest candle to the left. This one still is the biggest candle, right? But the nearest big candle, oh, I would have loved a little bit. I'm very, very glad that today did significantly better than yesterday. We actually completely closed above the open, right? So we lost a bit there. We actually came to the bottom of that guy, which I didn't like, actually a little bit lower, but no, 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 no. We got that all back, right? So I like the day-to-day right here, Monday to Tuesday. I like Tuesday to this 70% monster day on the 22nd. I just wish we had another 20 cents, give or take, to this, what was it, Wednesday? Yeah, this Wednesday candle right here, right? But overall, listen, I can't stress it enough. Look, I have never pretended that these are the best 5 lines. I have very often said that this chart reader, look, when I move my money, I'm moving my money on something I called the 1, and then I'll kind of check it on the 2. You know what I mean? Chart readers, what we're looking at right here, this is a very simple stack, but it's a deadly stack. You have seen it. If you've been here before, you'll continue to see it going forward, right? So yeah, I'm very, very much in love with these lines. There are other lines that are just as good too, but moving averages in general are great, great things. All right. So what am I looking for tomorrow? Look, I think I'm looking for this 930. I am 940, whatever it is, right? I think my absolute minimum is basically an 870. I think I want to get over this right here. I do, right? And I want to start creeping over because it's not like I necessarily need to confirm the bounce, but yeah, I for sure want to see the follow through, right? So good volume. There's definitely still decreasing volume, but good volume. It's a good green day. It's well over the 50. I'll take it. Look, our RSI got super high. 71's not necessarily super low, but 71 has a good distance between here and 80, let alone maybe a little bit more than 80, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily enough of a reset, but it's definitely a reset, right? So I'm curious. I think tomorrow is going to be real interesting. We really do want that follow through. Just give me a little bit more, and then obviously if we break that 9 line, I'm expecting big things. My next line is 13, right? I think it's still worth mentioning 660. All right. If we don't continue up, I think there's a chance we come down to basically 760. And then if 760's lost, yeah, I think we might be talking about 660 though. But again, let's continue on up, especially seeing what the rest of the sector looks like. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinion. Let's take a look at the weekly, I guess, before I say that. Yeah, look at it, right? We're still waiting for that big weekly confirmation. That was a monster candle a couple weeks ago, smashing multiple moving averages. Doji don't count, and so far, Doji don't count. I'm glad we're over it, right? This says 620. Maybe between 660 and 620 is that like maybe zone, right? But again, give me a good day. Give me the move forward to this 940. Give me the continued, right? That's what we're looking for. This was a big weekly. I need a big candle by Friday on the weekly as well to believe, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's come into high tide. What a day for high tide. Let me say that one more time. What a day for a high tide, all right? I love it. Real quick, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share this video, it does wonders for the algorithm, all right? So I will say I think the news did a lot today. I think the news did so much today. I always say, I don't care what analysts say. I don't care if you're going to give me a price target, this, if you're going to say buy rating, overweight rating, this, that, whatever you want to call it, all right? I don't care about analyst ratings, all right? I really don't. When you're talking about a stock that not that long ago was under 200K shares of volume, you can see right here, this random day I clicked was 186, right? I say this with love. This is an irrelevant stock. It is. I love covering this. I love the High Tide faithful. You know, you've become an important part of my, like, my thoughts. I think about you all, you know, but yo, this is an irrelevant stock. It is, especially in this big world of weed stocks. And when an analyst starts talking about an irrelevant stock, oh, you better believe it starts to get relevant to a lot of people that didn't know it before. All right. Today was a big volume day. I'm zooming out. I'm zooming out. I'm zooming out. Today was arguably the fourth biggest volume day in history. This one looks bigger. That one looks bigger. That one looks bigger. No other single day was bigger than today. I do believe it's, and look, I'll be honest, I don't even know who the analyst was. I don't know if it was a big name. I don't know if it was a small name. When there are eyes where there weren't before, others look too. All right. I say this so jokingly, but I hope you laugh. Like, this was a single stock that was trying to get a date. Come on. All of a sudden, it's got a prom date, and hey, one of the cheerleaders is looking. Hey, one of the quarterbacks or the running backs is looking for my girls out there, right? Like, all of a sudden, when, oh man, this is the one moment where I'm giving the analysts some love. When you put a buy rating, it does things. And I actually always kind of have to say, hey, take it with a grain of salt. Don't push too much. You know, it is what it is. I think this one's a little different, especially on that fourth biggest volume. Let's look at the weekly really quick. Today is Tuesday. And we're already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the ninth biggest week. The ninth biggest week in only 2 days. This is big. Volume is king. Volume is queen for my ladies out there, all right? Like, oh my, volume makes bad things worse and it makes good things great, all right? So look at the, oh man, I see the after hours movement. I'm actually here saying try to ignore that, all right? I do believe there's more. You can hear it in my voice, right? But like, I'm going to go ahead and ignore that after hours. But the next line I see is 254. And then, my goodness, the next line I see is basically 4, right? I don't know if this little insignificant 355 will be something, but let's just say it is. That's more than $1 on a $2 plus stock, right? The weekly is calling for this. Weekly saying 340 is something. Where's 340? Oh, that's just an abyss of nothing. Oh, that is this little line right here. All right. I'll draw it. I will. I think this is going to stay pretty horizontal for a while. I think it's worth having it just in case that there's a movement, but I think this is a good 1, 2, 3, 4. I am not like, again, this is in the gap fill, right? I think that weekly might do a little something. I think it's worth having it right there. Oh, this was a good one. This was a good one for sure. For real, I obviously had this one last, but this is the stock that I made this video for, all right? So I appreciate you all so much. Hey, have a great one, everyone.